So I think that that's where I was going with that earlier, was you were a tattoo artist.
Or a tattooist.
Or tattooist, there you go. Not an artist, that's a tattooer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
But so where I was going with that was technological advancements. So we have a copier that's filled with stencil ink now, and it will print out,
Spits it out for
the
you.
gradations of an exact lifelike portrait, or of an eagle, of a motorcycle engine, whatever it is you're working with, and you put that stencil on and let it dry for a half hour, and I can work on it for 4 hours, and it's still going to be there. Compared to the original application of plastic and graphite was horrible.
So RC, where is your shop located at?
I'm in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, a town called Folsom, which is in what is better known as Ridley Township. Ridley Township has 5 small boroughs in it, this being one of them. But I'm right on MacDade Boulevard, very popular road that runs through here by 420.
For your pricing, do you do it by the piece? Do you do it by the hour?
Myself, I look at a design and I give you a number.
Okay.
All right, I look right at it. I know how long it's going to take me. Most people that go, like our minimum wage here is $80 if you come in on Carrots to Dot or Mississippi. You know what I mean? That's where pricing starts at. Most people, though, if you're going to price a tattoo, you're going to go anywhere between $100 and $200 an hour, depending on the type of style of tattooing. Like if you're getting realistic work that's really intently focused, it'll run higher. And most people per sitting, if you're going to get big work done, people will spend $500–600 and then they're tapped out.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? You're three hours into something, 4 hours into something, you're pretty much done.
I've done 6 hours. I know what it's like.
I do think there's a lot to be said for lidocaine. If people can take it, it does work. But you have to put it on and let it stay on for an hour and thick. Most people just put a thin smear of it and just put plastic over it and think they're good. No, it has to be put on really thick. And it's not cheap.
Right.
It's like $50 for a tube, but it will get you through a very, like if you were getting your armpit done, or some very crazy spots like that.
Your elbow?
Elbows, I don't think they're that bad.
You know, they're okay. It's definitely painful in my experience. I think under my arm.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but again, I didn't think so. Center of the chest, was painful for me.
Actually, you know, my wrists. I struggled with my wrists, and I know people that have got tons of wrist work, and for whatever reason on the inside of my wrist, it was, you know, it hurt, but I was getting finger twitches.
Right.
And I kept
involuntary muscle spasms.
Yeah, and I kept touching the tattoo artist, and I said, I'm sorry, man, I'm not.
I've got this fetish.
So have you ever tattooed anybody famous?
I tattooed a lot of Philadelphia Eagles used to come through here. Danny Bonaducci came here and got tattooed when he was in Philadelphia. I used to tattoo on a Preston and Steve radio show, and we had a ton of people either watched me tattoo. Like, for instance, one time we listened to Sublime in my studio, probably 250 times. And here I was tattooing, and I turned around, there's the band watching me tattoo, and I'm like, this is very surreal. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I've worked to your music all these times, and to have you watch me working was kind of funny. But yeah, I've done some pretty famous people along the way, and many not so famous people. But I've tattooed over 36,000 people in these 40 years. And that's a lot.
A lot of ink, man.
A lot of ink. Yeah.
Very cool.
But it's all good. You know, I enjoy people. And there's back in the day, when that's a great term back in the day, Sailor Eddie hated people. Harry was very gruff with people. Eddie was more personable, but he drank and could be an asshole. And you could be an asshole to people because there's only 3 shops. You had Camden, was Sailor Eddie's, Harry, and Philadelphia Eddie. And once, if you were getting tattooed by Harry, and then went to Eddie's, you couldn't come back to Harry's. You were like, fuck you.
They would know.
You left the coven.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how it was. And then me and Johnny Chance got together, and we would work on all their customers. I didn't give a shit about that, thing. Nowadays, people's loyalty to a tattoo shop is it's a McDonald's mentality. Who's the closest and who can do it fastest? And I have a coupon, and what's the cheapest? And I started taking credit cards in 1995 after getting phone calls for 10 years of people saying, do you take credit cards? The nearest person back then, before I started taking credit cards that took them, was a guy named Peter Eagle in Allentown. And I actually knew a guy who drove to Allentown to get tattooed because they had a credit card and no cash. And it was like $60 or something. And it was like back in 90.
Now, do you do so you obviously do credit card, but do you do Venmo, Cash App, any of those types of things?
Yeah, no, well, we do credit cards and Apple Pay. You know,
right.
It's people, they take their phone and go like that, and all of a sudden it's printing out, and I'm like, again, like, I'm not technologically advanced, but these people are.
If somebody were to try to set up an appointment with you or one of your other artists that are here at the shop, do you have email?
They email us at rctattoos@gmail.com. Best thing to do is come in, you know, and call up, and we'll give you time. You know, consultations are always free. Come in and we discuss designs with you. And I suggest to people, if you know what you want or the theme of what you want, do some research and come in with like 5 to 10 pictures of that theme. And from those 5 to 10 pictures, I can design you something. You know, like we could take this woman and that motorcycle and these colors and this sky and make them all into your own design.
Talk to me about piercing. How did piercing enter into the tattoo world? And I'm asking you this specifically because you've been around pre-pierce days.
Yes.
And to me, it goes hand in hand now. Not all the time, but there are a lot of shops that do both tattoo and piercing.
And we're one of them.
And I know you're one of them.
Yeah.
How did that enter into the tattoo world?
Okay, so my first exposure to it was going to tattoo conventions in the early 80s. And people would have these big gauge things in their ears, penises pierced, big things going through there, like obnoxious piercings. Right. Not your common little 15-year-old girl getting a belly pierced kind of shit. Just really off the hook things. And it was in the West Coast. And I would start getting calls. You do piercing? And I would tell these people, you're freaks, and hang up on them. And by 95, I was getting 3 calls a day. And a friend of mine, Paulie Davis, who worked up in Tom's River with his father, Ernie Carafa, Ernie called me and said, hey, my son needs a job. He wants to be down in Philly. So I gave Paulie a job, and he was a piercer. And calls were coming in, and he says, hey, all right. He goes, I can do this. And so we started piercing, and then after like 6 months, I said, you got to teach me. So I learned from Paul how to pierce, and today I've probably pierced thousands of people. It's a rite of passage in this area.
So were you one of the first tattoo shops in the area?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Philadelphia area, yeah.
As far as the interview today, is there anything I didn't ask you that you feel like you need to bring up about the industry or your shop itself?
Well, I will say this. I come from a different world of biker tattoo artists. And I'm from that culture, and I believe in that lifestyle. That being said, it's not what it was. It's definitely changed, and I try and change with it. Because if you don't evolve with the times will leave you behind. Mm-hmm. So we take appointments. I personally try not to work by appointment because I like to be able to be a free spirit. And if I don't want to make it into work today, I don't make it in. But that comes from doing this for 41 years. You know, there's other things in life I enjoy doing. You know, this first and foremost is a profession. I get people that come in and they say, oh, the lifestyle. I'm like, it's not a fucking lifestyle. It's a job. Mm-hmm. Do I enjoy it? I think I like doing this better than the guy working in the sewer. Mm-hmm. All right? But you know what? I've tattooed them sewer guys, and they enjoy their job. Right? Everybody does something, and if you don't like it, they tend to go find a better job. Are they just grown workers in this world? Absolutely. Are they just grown tattoo artists? Absolutely. And it's not because of this job. It's generally they got a problem.
Right.
But I love people, and I enjoy making people happy. Who's my favorite customers? Well, people that are happiest. And who are the happiest? And you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but women that get me to do their eyebrows.
That's another part of the industry that's changed. I mean, you know,
women that have plucked their eyebrows out, or a lot of them never were born with them at all, where they just got little wisps right here. And then I'm able to do this. I save them 140 minutes a week. Mm. Okay, because it's 20 minutes a day. And if you don't draw it on right, because you're Russian, you don't play John Belushi. Right. You know, and so you're providing a service. You're changing their lives. Women that get mastectomies and don't have nipples, and we can tattoo nipples on. I had a woman that come in and she goes, I don't want nipples. I had them for 40 years. I want flowers. You know what I mean? So these are life-changing things for people.
Awesome, awesome. So there you have it, folks. If you want to get work done by RC or one of the other great artists that are here at this shop, you can stop by. You can make a phone call, email. They take cash, credit card. They'll work with you on the app thing. And then, you know, come down and experience the shop. It's beautiful. It's clean. It's a very cool, old school environment that has a little new school flavor to it. I think you got a great little history lesson here, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you for doing this for me.
You got it.